Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi Shrali Sadri, Wayassali Amri, Walul Odatam Milasani, Qali Rabbi Sidnilma. Okay, children, we are here again with one more paper. This is paper 2, Computer Science, Algorithms, Programming and Logic, 0478. It's IGCSE paper 2-3 of May-June 2023. The paper duration is 1 hour 45 minutes. You have to answer on the question paper. No additional materials are needed. You have to answer all the questions, use a dark blue pen or black pen in order to answer the questions. You may use an HB pencil for the diagrams or maybe any graphs that are needed to be drawn. You have to write your name, sender number, and candidate number in the boxes given at the top of the page. Write your answer to each question in the given space. Do not use an erasable pen or correction fluid at all. Do not write anything on the barcodes. Calculators must not be used in the paper. Total marks are 75 and the marks are written in the brackets. And remember, no mark is awarded in case of using the brand names of software packages or hardware. Fine? Now, the paper starts now. Tick one box to complete the sentence. So you can see a constant. Part A stores a value that can change at any time during the execution of the program, stores a value that cannot change during the execution of the program, stores values of multiple data types, stores values that must be of the same data type. By the way, what do you think? I've underlined the keywords. What do you think is completely out of question for the word constant? Yes, what do you think? Multiple data types? Correct. Values of the same data type. By the way, same data type means, what are we talking about? Values that must be of same data type. Exactly, that's an array. It means this is also out of question. It means now we are left with these two options. Can change. Is it a constant? Definitely not. It means that the only option that is correct is this one. That is why we'll simply correct, put a tick here, and you are able to score 1 out of 1. Easy? Any questions regarding this? Okay, now. That's great. Wonderful. Question number 2. Explain the purpose of library routines, mod and random. By the way, I hope that we remember library routines are... What are library routines, by the way? Yes, functions which are ready-made available to us. We only have to use them. So for that, we need to know the purpose, the syntaxes of these functions. So the first one is mod. By the way, if you remember, we have been doing this mod function along with div exactly. So what does it return actually? It's modulus. Exactly, when you are doing the division, then it's going to return the remainder. So whenever you can explain it in your own words, like when you perform division, integer division, and one number is divided by another, then you find the remainder through mod function. And the student can give any example, like just an example of 7 mod 2 is written here, and you get the answer 1, because when you are dividing 7 by 2, you get the remainder as 1. So in this manner, it's a 4-mark question. If you have written 2 bullet points, then definitely you are able to score. Definitely it is used in divisions. And the answer for this division is I'm not asking about div right now, but just a very quick recap, the div is also there to handle the integer division, and it returns you the quotient. On the contrary, mod returns the remainder. Now random, as the name implies, is going to give you a random number. So what is it? To generate a pseudo-random number, and it's usually within a specified range. For example, if you say random into 10, so it will give you a number between 0 and 10. So if you have written any example, like this is just one example that is here for reference, you can put any example in the right way. You will definitely be able to score 4 out of 4 for mod and random. Proper definition with examples means you have scored 4 out of 4. Okay, now, question number 3. Describe what happens when a function is called during the execution of a program. Now, it's basically function. So whenever you are calling a function, what happens? Okay, it's a 3-mark question. For this, you need some way of calling the function, and you need its identifier. Like function name can be string, clean, function name can be preview, function name could be any, function name could be display number. So first thing is you need to call the function by using its proper identifier, by using its proper name. And you can pass on the parameters to the function, and definitely the function performs a task and returns a value to the main program. So these are the main things that we need to see. First thing is function has its own name or identifier. Function is called with the parameters. The parameters are passed on to the function from the main program, and definitely the function performs the action that it is meant to do, that it is designed to perform, and returns a value. Remember, functions return a value while procedure does not return a value. So this is what we need to remember. Functions always return a value. So in this manner, a 3-mark question, you can easily score if you have written the proper things in the proper sequence, and you will definitely be able to score. So these are the 3 main important things that you need to see. Called using the identifier, it's going to have some parameters being passed on to it, and it returns a value to the main program from where it is being called. Okay, any questions? Easy. Question number 4. Explain why verification checks are used when data is input. Now, it's dealing with verification. Why? The reason is to ensure that data has been accurately copied from the source document, or you can say to ensure that changes have not been made to the values in originally. It is intended when data is copied from one source to another. So we can, since it's a 2-mark question, you write it efficiently, you write it correctly. So definitely you will be able to score 2 out of 2. You have written to ensure the data has been accurately copied, intended when data is copied from one source to another. So you are able to score. Give 2 types of validation check and state how each one can be used. Now for this, you need to know the verification checks. By the way, which are the verification checks that we have learned? Can we quickly recall? Please write it in the chat. Yes. Format? No. Format is not the verification check. It's the validation check. Okay, that's great, Ali. You can recall very quickly that basically verification is double entry or screen or visual check. So you can see it's a 2-mark question for each part. For verification check 1 and for verification check 2, visual check or screen check. The use is the user looks through the data that has been entered and confirms that no changes have been made. So what you do in visual check or screen check is you have the source document, you see the source document, is the source document and whatever is there on the screen exactly same or not. So this is what is verification check 1, that is visual check or screen check. On the contrary, the second check is double entry. As you see, the data is entered twice and the 2 entries are compared and they have to be exactly same. If they do not match, it means it is a mistake and you are asked to re-enter the data. By the way, just asking, in which situations do we go for double entry? Can you recall the example? Okay, that's great, wonderful. That is your password entry, exactly. So password entry is basically an example of your double entry. Okay, any questions, any issues? Easy? Okay. 4 descriptions, now this is question number 5. 4 descriptions of validation checks are shown. Draw 1 line to link each description to the most appropriate check. Not all checks will be used. Now this is very interesting. You have on the left-hand side 4 descriptions, and on the right-hand side there are some checks. And what you need to do is you have to match the description with the equivalent check to check that the data entered is an integer. Definitely that is type check. Nothing else but type check. To check that some data has been entered, some, it means it is not left blank. So definitely that is presence check. To check that the data entered has an appropriate number of characters. Now this is length check, because here you check that exactly the same number of characters are entered, or it has some reasonable number of characters, as in, let me quickly recall the example of length check. Password entry, exactly, that's wonderful. Besides this, what about the CNIC? What about the name? What about certain values like this? For example, telephone number. Aren't they also undergoing length check also? Exactly. So just remember, you can be asked to explain along with the examples. So length check, a lot of examples of length check we've discussed in class, and today we are also revising. To check that an identification number contains no errors. Now you can see, now format check is definitely not the right option for this. So then it is the check digit, because here in check digit, what we do is we see that whatever the identification number is, that is containing no errors. So in this manner, you can see, you can easily score 4 out of 4, because if you have matched the description with the proper, then you will definitely be able to score 4 out of 4. Isn't it easy? Okay, write an algorithm in pseudocode to make sure that input for the variable length is between 15 and 35 inclusive. The code must iterate until a valid input has been made, and the code must include appropriate messages. You can see, basically, there are certain, like, simple. It's a very simple thing that you have to input the length. But here, input of length has to be between a certain range. By the way, just asking, which check is used here? Variable length. Which check is applied on this variable length? That's great, wonderful. That is the range check. Why not the limit check? Can't it be limit check? Okay, that's great, Ali. Excellent. I hope that, well, I'm really very impressed that you remember that length check, range check involves the minimum and the maximum, and limit check involves any one. So since it is saying between 15 and 35 inclusive, since two values, the lower boundary and the upper boundary, two are mentioned, that's why limit check is not the correct option. It's the range check. Now, how will I do it? By the way, iterate. Iterate means the loop. Can we recall very quickly the loop structures that we have worked on? Yes, children? Can we quickly recall the loop structures? Between 15 and 35 inclusive, it's the range check. By the way, I'm talking about the iteration. Which loop structures? For, okay. Which else? For to next, perfect. Repeat, great, wonderful. And then the third one, case. No, not at all. That's great, Ali, that you are able to identify that case is a selection statement and not iteration. Repeat until, basically, exactly. And then we have learned while. By the way, in this scenario, when you are asked to take input and check that if the input is not in the range, then ask the person to re-enter. See, until a valid input has been entered. So can I work with for loop here? You think that for loop is going to be the right option here? Not at all, exactly. So here you can see, now it is between repeat or the student can use repeat. If you're confident with repeat, fine. If a student is confident with while, that's perfectly okay. Both are the right options to be used. But by the way, just asking, which kind of loop is repeat? It's a post condition, great. And what about while? It's a precondition, exactly. Which one iterates at least once out of these two? At least once. Repeat. Exactly, that's wonderful. And while may not work even once. I hope that this is what we remember. Now, this is how you can score 3 out of 3. If you have identified the right loop structure in the same manner as we have done it right now, like either the repeat or while is the right option to use. You have taken in the input of length, you have used the proper instructions, the error messages are there, the messages are like user-friendly, a person should know what he has to enter. And if you are writing down the proper condition, then definitely you are able to score 3 out of 3. Easy? Yes? Okay, now, can you write it down? And then we'll see that is it correct or not. Okay, you have written it. That's great, wonderful. Okay, now let's see. Which one have you chosen, Ali? Okay, you are more okay with the repeat? Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's all. That's perfectly okay. Now, since Ali is very much comfortable with repeat, that's fine. See, we have written it repeat. Output, enter a value on a number between 15 and 35 inclusive. Input length, until length greater than or equal to 15 and length less than or equal to 35. It said 15 and 35 inclusive. That's why you can see until the length does not like fall in between 15 and 35 inclusive. So the moment a person entered a value that is between 15 and 35, like 25, 20, 19, etc., even 32, even 35, it means the moment he entered this value, it means the condition becomes the condition till the time the length does not fall in this category. So as soon as the length is falling in this category, it will definitely move out. So in this manner, you can easily score 3 out of 3. Isn't it easy? On the contrary, if anyone has chosen the use of while, that's perfectly okay. You can see. But remember, where while is being used, you have to use input twice. Once before you are entering the loop, please be very much cautious. Here you can see the while is going to use input twice. First, it will use input here before you are entering. Okay. And then check is made. While length less than 15 or length greater than 35 do. Like if the value of length is less than 15 or the value of length, the length that is being entered by the user is above 35, then the user is given a message. You must enter a value between 15 and 35 inclusive, and input of length is written once again. So just remember here the input is taken once. By the way, I forgot to write it down. What may happen then? I just wrote this message and I forgot to write input once again. What will happen? That's great, Ahmed. That it will work with the same previous value of length and it will never be able to come out of the loop. Or in other words, my loop will become a never-ending loop. Exactly. So if for example, a person entered maybe 10 here. So 10 is less than 15. Condition true, it enters. Because remember that while works when condition is true. Fine. So what will happen then? Then condition is true, 10 is less than 15. It will enter. If I have not taken the input once again, it will keep on working with the same previous value of length and it will never come out of the loop. It will keep on rotating and rotating and rotating, doing the same, checking the same, and it will never come out of the loop. So that is why please remember, whenever we are working with while, we have to take input twice. Once definitely before entering the loop, and secondly, definitely once again inside the loop. Okay. On the contrary, repeat until, as you can see, it's a post-condition loop. At least once it will enter, perform the activity, and continuity or otherwise depends upon the situation. And repeat works when condition is false. I think this is what we all have learned by now, isn't it? So both are mentioned here. Whichever you are comfortable with, use the same, and then you will be through. Okay. It is for false, and this one is for true. Any questions, any ambiguity before we proceed to the next question? We have been doing exactly, we have been doing. So mashallah, you are okay with this. So there's no problem at all. That's great. Maybe move. Thank you. Question number 6. An algorithm has been written in pseudocode to allow 100 positive numbers to be input. 100 positive numbers. The total and the average of the numbers are output. This is something that you already are aware of. Now let's see. Line number 1, counter equals to 100, like arrow means assignment operator. Total is assigned the value of 0. While counter greater than 100 do. Input number, if number greater than 0, then total equals to total plus counter, counter equals to counter plus 1, end case, and while. Output, the total value of your numbers is total. Output, the average value of your numbers is total upon 100. Fine. Identify 4 errors in the pseudocode and suggest corrections. I'm giving you time, think, and let me know which lines have problem and how can we correct them. Identified? Okay, now let's do it together. One by one. Is line number 1 correct? Counter assignment operator is 100. No, it's a problem. Okay, what is the problem? It should be a 0. Fine. Okay, good. What about the next line? Total equals to 0. Used for totaling. That's correct. While counter greater than 100. Do. Will it work? No, that is a problem. Line number 4. Is it correct? Input number? Okay, wonderful. Line number 5, if number greater than 0, you can see to allow 100 positive numbers to be input. If number greater than 0, then total equals to total plus counter. Okay, that's a problem. It should have been total plus number because definitely counter is just there to go for the counting phase. So it means that line number 7 has an error. Counter equals to counter plus 1, end case. Is it correct? Okay, identified very accurately. It should have been end if because when we start with if, it has to be end if. And definitely there is no need of case. By the way, when do we use if and when do we go for case? Yes, can we quickly recall? They both are your selection statements. Exactly, that's great. So in this manner, you can see that we have revised the selection statements. We have revised the iteration also. So when do we go with if and when do we go for case? In which situations is if the best option? That's great, wonderful. When we have 2 options or maybe less options, maybe there's only one thing to be done. So then there's no need to use case at all, and that is what you have already learned. We are just revising that case is the best option to be used when you have more than 2 options, when there are 2 options or maybe 1 option only here. So then the best option is if. So that is again a problem that you must have used end if here and not end case. So lines 1, 3, 7, and 9 have problems. And the rest are okay? Okay, that's wonderful. Great, wonderful, excellent. Now let's see. Line number 1, counter equals to 100 is a problem. It should be counter equals to 0. Error 2 is in line 3, while counter greater than 100 is wrong. It should have been while counter less than 100 too. Similarly, you can see again identification is accurate. Error 3 is in line 7. Total equals to total plus counter is definitely not required, not going to give us the desired output. It should have been total equals to total plus number. And error 4 is in line number 9, end case. It should have been end if. So in this manner, mashallah, you people have identified 4 errors and you have corrected them also. That's wonderful, great. Part B, describe the changes. Now the word is describe. Describe the changes you should make to the corrected algorithm so that a count control loop is used to allow 100 positive numbers to be input. Now you can see you need to describe changes and it's a 5-mark question. So how will you score actually? Now here, a list of different options are there, but see from for yourself. If I ask you, what should you be doing? It's actually right now we talked about that this pseudocode is using while, and this is not a very good option. If you know the number of iterations is 100 times, why not use for? So how will you answer? See, it's better if we replace line 3, which where while is written with for, fine? And definitely for is going to be using the for counter equals to 1 to 100, or as a student can say for counter equals to 0 to 99. So they both are accurate. They both have entered the right option. And if you have written these 3 lines properly, it means that you will definitely be able to score 3, because you have identified the place of the replacement, like line 3 should be replaced with 4, and you have written the right range also, that should be from 0 to 99 or 1 to 100, and line 5 to check if numbers is not positive. And if number is not positive, then a validation is supposed to be there, the way we have learned right now, using repeat or while, just to ensure that right positive numbers are entered. If not, then a person is asked to re-enter. And the process, the process of asking the person to re-enter will continue until he has entered a positive value for the number. And since we have used for here, so then there is no need to have end while, and we are going to replace end while with next. See, so simple. So if you have just identified the problems accurately, identified the line that contain the problem, you have written them properly, then inshallah you'll be able to score 4 out of 5 out of 5. So easy, isn't it? Okay, that's great. Now, question number 7, your favorite. The flowchart represents an algorithm. An input of -1 will terminate the algorithm. By the way, what is -1? -1 is working as, great, wonderful, Ali. It's working as a rogue value. Now, what is it doing actually? Just see. Start, total equals to 0. Input value, is value equals to -1? Yes. It moves here and output total and stop. If that is not the case, then you can see you have 2 variables here. You have 5.1 and 5.2, and you can see 5.1 will be holding the diff process like value diff 5, and 5.2 will hold value upon 5. Is 5.1 equals to 5.2? Yes. So it is moving down, and the value will be now in 10. You can see 10.1 equals to value diff 10, and 10.2 equals to value upon 10. And then you're checking once again, is 10.1 equals to 10.2? Yes. So it moves here, and the value of total is increased. Like you can see, it's initialized with a 0. Otherwise, the condition true, it moves here. The value of total will be adding the value of value, and it moves back to the another input. But if that is not the case, then there's a message for the user, output rejected, and then it moves back to the same input. So let's do it together one by one. The program starts, and you can see total 0. So total is holding a value of 0. Input value. So which value is input? This 5. So this goes into the column of value. Is value equals to -1? Condition is false. No. Then what are we doing is we are saying 5.1 equals to value diff 5. So what we did, we simply divided. Now, should I show it to you? Yes. Okay, div. Now you can see 5.1 equals to value diff 5. Value is 5. We're going to divide this by 5. And what we obtain is 5 ones is 5. So you can see here, the value is going to be 1 here. So you can see 5.1 is holding the value of 1. Similarly, 5.2, another variable, value upon 5. Value is 5. So 5 upon 5 is the same 1. Isn't it? Understood clearly? We applied the diff function. Yes, exactly. We have devised it. That's great, Ali, that you have just seen that we have revised. So you know that we have used the diff function also. We know that diff is meant to perform what activity. Okay, now moving on to this, what we can see here is value equals to -1? No, it moved here. applied this division process, applied again the division process. But here you can see this is going to be moving here and this is going to be moving here. Understood clearly? Okay. This is the result of integer division. As you can see, it moves here. This is the result of normal division, as we are aware of, like 5 upon 5, as we know very, very easily. Fine. Any issues? So if you have worked with the first input. Now, is 5 equals to 5, 5, 1 equals to 5, 2? Condition true, yes. So you can see, now it is doing now working on 10. 10, 1 equals to value diff 10. Now, what are we doing? If the condition is true, then what is happening? We are now performing the division. The same value is going to be divided by 10. Now, same value 5 is divided by 10. So now, since you know 10 is not going in division, so that is why 10 zeros is 0, and we get the remainder of 5. That is what you need to know, the proper divisions. So here you can see it's 0. Fine. And then 10, 2 equals to value upon 10. So if I now divide 5 upon 10, guess what is the result? 0.5 exactly. So now you can see. Now you can see for yourself. Now it is going to check once again that is it matching? Is it matching? No. So you can see for yourself, since it is not matching, that's why it's going to move on to output reject, and you've got the result as rejected here. The output column will hold the value of rejected. Any issues? Any problem? Are you ready for doing the rest of the parts yourself? See, it's easy, not difficult. Okay. Now you can try it out. Again, you can see for yourself that you will get definitely the correct answers. Again, the next input is taken. The value of total is not. It goes to value. Value is going to now hold the next value, that is, which one is the next value? It's exactly 50. Now you can see 50 is now applied. You can see value equals to -1, condition false, moves down. Now 50 is divided by 10. And 50 is divided by 5 first. And we have performed the integer division. And we got the quotient as 10. And when we divided 50 by 5, we get 10. So again, they both are equal. And then we move down and then we perform the 10, 10, 1. 10, 1 is value diff 10. Means 50, should I show it to you? Okay, no worries, no worries. Let me show it to you. No worries at all. Just relax, I'll show it to you. Now, the next input that is taken is 5, but you have to promise that you will do the rest of the inputs yourself. Like the next input is 50, and we have to apply the 50 now. Are you ready for that? Can you manage it? Yes, can you manage it yourself? Okay, that's great. If you can manage it, I'm really very happy. Are you doing it? Done? Okay, that's great, Emma and Ali. And the rest of the class also, that you have taken this and you are able to attempt. The value for 50 also, 50 matching. 50 divided by 5 gives you the value of 10. Again, divided by 5 gives you the value of, again, 10. And when you perform the division again by 10, you get the same 5 and 5, and moves down to checking the value. Condition again is true, because in this situation, both the values are matching. So that is why it moves to the yes, and the total value is, the total variable is now going to hold the value of 50. So total equals to total plus value. Value is holding 50, so this 50 moves to the total. Okay. Now, next input is 52. 52 perform division. 5 tens are 50. You can see. But on the contrary, when you perform the division with the slash, it is going to give you the answer of 10.4. Perfect. Then definitely it is not matching. So it is going to be, they're not matching. Definitely they are not equal. So it is going to move to output rejected. So it is not even moving to the calculation of 10, 1 and 10, 2. See? Just be cautious and you will be through. After that is 555. And remember, the moment you have done anything, please circle or just tick or just underline, do any one thing so that you are not going to reuse the same. 555, again, you can see division done is going to give you 111. Again, the same with the division sign gives you the 111. When you perform that 51 and 52 are equal, it moves down and performs division by 10. So here you can see 555 gives you the value of 55 here, but on the contrary, it gives you 55.5. They're not equal. So since they're not equal, that's why it moves here and output rejected. Understood? So 555 also gives you the option of rejected. Then the next input, a value is 57. Division performed, you can see 5 11s are 55. That's why the div is going to return you the value of 11. But on the contrary, the division, the proper division as we have been doing in math, gives you the value of 11.4. You can see they're not equal. So that's why it simply goes to rejected. There's no division done for 10-1 or 10-2. And then we have 500. Again, you can see they're equal, 100 and 100. Equal, it moves down, performs division with 10. And division by 10, still it gives you the same result. They are equal. And since they are equal, that's why they are simply adding the value of total. And you can see early value was 50 plus the new value 500 makes it 550. And then you are taking the last input -1. Why am I saying -1 last? Exactly, because these are just given extra to identify that whether you are cautious about your working or not. So here you can see once you have performed, reached -1, so -1 will terminate your input, further input taking, because the moment one is encountered, it will see is value equals to -1, yes. So output total, and you can see simply in the output column, now you will have 550. So in this manner, you can simply score how many marks? I think it was a 6-mark question, and you can easily score 6 out of 6 if you have identified each and every calculation properly, you've written it properly, then definitely marks are yours. Easy? Okay. Describe the purpose of the algorithm. What do you think? We have done this. See, it's so simple. We're just finding that whether the input that is given by the user is divided completely by both 5 and 10. Okay. And once it is done, then we are just adding them together and we are outputting the total. So 1 mark is going to be for identifying that whether the same number is divisible by both 5 and 10. And if that is the case, then what are we doing next is we are adding those numbers and we are finding out the total of those numbers and we are outputting that total. See, it's so simple. You have understood the whole concept, you can easily score. Now, question number 8, that is what you know. Yes, exactly. Consider the logic expression. Z is 1 if A equals to 1 and C equals to not 1 and B equals to 1 nor C equals to 1. Now you can see it's so simple. Now, first of all, identify. The first bracket is this one connected with AND with a second bracket. It means that A and C naught. Here you can see A and C naught. This is the C naught connected to the AND gate. Second input is coming from AND A, and the last from here is going to the last AND gate here. And this AND gate is getting another input coming from B nor C. Now don't get worried because of this B equals to 1 nor C equals to 1. No worries at all. It is simply B nor C. Fine, do not get confused. So what have we done is we have drawn the NOR gate. This is the NOR gate. It is getting one signal coming from B and second signal coming from C. And the result is going to the last AND gate. By the way, remember, very cautious that this NOR should get the input from here, not from here. Because if you are drawing a line from here, means that you are talking about that C is knotted, which is not the case. Here in this case, the value of C is simple 1. It is not the not case. Easy? See, and you have been told that do not simplify the expression at all. You simply have to solve it in this manner. If you have written it accurately, you have drawn it accurately, neatly, then definitely 4 marks are yours. Easy? Now B part. Complete the truth table for the given logic expression. Now this is the logic expression. For the simplicity, I have written it once again for you. First thing is C equals to not 1. So you can see C equals to not 1. So the signal C is reversed. So here you can see the result is 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Any issues? C equals to not 1. Then we have A equals to 1 and C equals to not 1. So here what are we doing? We are simply considering this column and column A, and we are finding out the AND operation. So this column, A column number A, and so column number C, C noted is C, 0 and 1 a 0, 0 and 0 a 0, 0 and 1 a 0, 0 and 0 a 0, 1 and 1 a 1, 1 and 0 a 0, 1 and 1 is a 1, and 1 and 0 is also a 0. Any issues? Okay. B nor C. Now we are going to consider these two columns. Okay. And we are performing the NOR operation. And remember, NOR is basically the knotting of OR or reversal of OR. So what have we done? 0 or 0 is a 0, reverse a 1. 0 or 1 is a 1, reverse a 0, not. 1 or 0 is a 1, not is a 0. 1 or 1 is a 1, reverse is a 0. 0 or 0 is a 0, reverse knotted is a 1. 0 or 1 is a 1, reverse is a 0. 1 or 0 is a 1, reverse is a 0. 1 or 1 is a 1, reverse is a 0. Any issues? Any questions? And lastly, we are performing the AND operation on these two. So you can see it's so simple. 0 and 1, 0, 0 and 0, 0, 0 and 0, 0, 0 and 0, 0. 1 and 1 is a 1, 0 and 0 is a 0, 1 and 0 is a 0, 0 and 0 is a 0. So in this manner, if you have written all the values for Z property, then definitely you are able to score 4 out of 4. Easy. So 4 marks here means 8 marks. Okay, now the variable saying is used to store string data in a program. Write the pseudocode statement to declare the variable saying. Now this is very simple. What are we supposed to do here? Okay, now done. It's so simple, no? You've written the pseudocode statement to declare the variable. It's the same. Exactly, that is going to be declare saying colon and string. Fine. Now write pseudocode statements to allow a string to be input into the variable saying. First, store the contents of the variable saying in the text file named quotations.txt. Make sure the text file is closed at the end of the algorithm. Now, these are the 3 situations that we need to take care of, and it's a 5-mark question. So how will you score? This is what you need to be cautious about. First thing is you have to input properly using the right statement, and this input will be taken in the variable saying. You have to use open like the write mode. I hope that we remember that in order to write data. By the way, which is the right option to be used? Exactly. To write, we use write. And for reading, what do we use, by the way? We use read, exactly. So you need to open it in the write mode. Correct use of write file to write saying. You have to use the, once we are done, but then you have to close, and please do not forget to use the proper quotation.txt throughout the whole program, throughout the whole pseudocode writing, so that you can easily score. Now, just an example, input saying. Now we have my file, the arrow symbol for quotations.txt. This is the file that we have saved on the hard drive on my storage medium, and this will be accessed via my file. And you can see my file, quotations.txt, open my file for write, write file, comma saying, close file, my file. If you have written these 5 lines accurately in the proper sequence, then definitely you will be able to score 5 out of 5. Now, just remember that this is how we access the file that is stored on my hard drive or on my storage medium. And we have to use this once. Here you can see And then we are going to access my file throughout our whole program. We are going to open my file. We are going to write using this variable into the same. We are going to close again in the same manner. Proper sequence being followed, and definitely you will be able to score 5 out of 5. Isn't it easy? Okay. Question number 10. A database table called Site1 stores details of some holiday homes at a holiday park. The database shows the type of home, number of guests, whether it is privately owned, and the weekly rate to hire it. Now, this is your database, part of the database. Now, first of all, how many fields are here? By the way, are these fields or are these fields? How many fields are here and how many records are here? Field, 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 field. How many fields? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly. How many records are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Do not include this at all. Please remember, this is not your record that is just containing the names of the fields. So in this manner, how many fields are here and how many records are here, you can identify easily that your fields are 5 and your records are 12. Fine. In this manner, you have easily scored 2 marks. Now the next question, describe the purpose of a primary key. By the way, here they're not asking about the primary key, but they're simply asking you what is the purpose? Simply to uniquely identify a record. So the primary key's job is always storing the unique values through which you can identify the record in the whole table. The database uses the data types alphanumeric, character, Boolean, integer, real, and datetime. Complete the table to show the most appropriate data type for each of the following fields. Type, private, rate dollar, number guessed. Now let's move on to our table. Type, private, rate dollar, number guessed. Type, what is it? It's containing letters. Exactly, that is why it's alphanumeric. Private, containing no or yes. Boolean, rate dollar, containing digits, pure digits. It's going to be your integer. Fine. And number guests. By the way, number guests is also integer. So here you can see type is alphanumeric. Private, since it is holding yes, no, that's why it's Boolean. Rate dollar is integer. Number guest is also integer. So in this manner, you can score 2 out of 2. Because they have given you the hint, that's why they have given lesser marks exactly. Now, the question is a bit different here. Give the output that would be produced by the SQL statement. And what is this SQL statement? Select name, comma number guessed, comma rate dollar. So now this is what we need to display from Site1, the table name, where number guessed greater than or equal to 10. So what we need to do is we have to go back to our table structure. We'll see, we have to go back to our table and we'll have to see that which records are meeting the criteria when number guessed is greater than 10 or equal to 10 as well. Fine, just remember. And then you have to display name, number guessed, and rate dollar, and in the same sequence. Now remember, how many values are greater than or equal to 10? So you can see which one. This one, and this one, 3. And what are we supposed to go for? We have to display what? The name, the number guessed, and the rate dollar. Remember the sequence. So Bay launch, 10,000. Then it will be Coppice launch, 1,200. Then lastly, West launch, 1,200. So now this is going to be identified. This is what you will actually do. You will identify the records that are meeting the criteria. In the same manner, you can tick, you can circle, whatever you want, you can do that. And you can see that this is what you need to only get. Do not get the entire record, just get these fields. And remember that they have to come in the same sequence because there's no mention of the order here at all. Okay, easy? Understood? Any issues? Here they are asking about the display. So again, no worries. We simply moved back to our table values, and we have found the values here. So you can see the output is going to be Bay Lodge 10, 1000. Now, very important thing is it has to be, try your level best to be in the same sequence, because data correctly extracted in any two rows, data correctly extracted in the third row, data in correct order horizontally and vertically. This is definitely going to be also a marking point. So that is why sequence of number guessed, name first, number guessed then, and rate dollar in the end, and all the meeting criteria. And once you are done with first record, meeting the criteria, then in the next line, the second record, in the third line, the third record. And in this manner, you can easily score 3 out of 3. Okay, now how is the learning? Is it easy? Exactly, that's wonderful. That's great. I'm very happy that you are able to recall each and everything. You have been very instrumental in this whole past paper solving journey. Jazakallah khair, Kasida, for being a part of the learning journey. Hope that you have liked the explanation. If you have liked the explanation, please do not forget to subscribe my channel, share with your friends and family, and do watch the playlist of the other videos that are available in the, like the past papers are solved, the topics are being solved, the scenario-based questions are solved. So please do watch those videos, share with your friends and families. They all are going to benefit from it. And please just let me know what else do you want me to work with you, so that we are always in the path of learning and learning and learning. Okay. Okay. Allah Hafiz once again. Take very good care of yourselves and your family. Inshallah, we are going to meet again with a new video of the scenario based question and the past papers. So keep on watching, keep on liking, and keep on subscribing. Allah Hafiz.